The opportunity that is new, echoing what others have said here, the major media is not getting it. They are not covering a lot of stories, and the very fun one here locally for me personally was this whole Ken Gladney beating. I mean, here we have a black man expressing his political free speech, and he gets pounded by thugs who were organized for the purpose of pounding him. The media's not paying attention to that in St. Louis, very little attention, and why there's no follow-up prosecution. When I wrote about the Gladney beating, the thing that I was particularly positioned to do, I'd been involved in 2000 when our county councilor, Patricia Reddington, had done a prosecution that I believe was flat out politically motivated, and I told her to her face that it was politically motivated. I knew that it was an organized hit on Republican candidate Bill Federer, and she prosecuted it anyway. She brought the charges 2 days after the alleged assault occurred. She comes in on a holiday and files charges. Here we are over 90 days later after a man's been beaten up by multiple assailants, and she can't find the time in her schedule to build a case to go after these people. I think that's pretty outrageous. I wrote it on Big Government. Glenn Beck picked it up, and I was on Glenn Beck Monday talking about it. Beck is going to stay on this story. Big Government's going to stay on this story so far. Now, and I want to give you a tip here to be more intentional. You throw it up to the satellites, they feed it back down, but don't assume the local media is going to pick it up. The only news outlet in St. Louis that I've seen that picked up that story subsequent to my writing about it was KMOX. Now they interviewed Pat Reddington, and she said she's not sweeping it under the rug, which was what I was accusing her of. So she's now having to answer questions that the St. Louis media is not making her answer. That's a tremendous opportunity. And it's a very exciting time. Sorry I don't have an overhead, because I want to talk a little bit more about the other opportunities. We may be able to pull that out.
Sure.